That note lasted for a few seconds, but for one family, it might have taken a lot of savings. One music lesson, one instrument, one decision. And here's the question that stayed with me while preparing this episode. Who gets the chance to discover they are talented, and who never even gets to find out? Because talent isn't distributed by income, opportunity often is. When we watch a musician perform, we see the stage. We don't see the lessons, we don't see the sacrifice, we don't see the parents choosing between music classes and something else. And we definitely don't see the children who quietly stop learning, not because they lack talent, but because the opportunity became too expensive. That's to me isn't just a music story, it's an economic story. Because talent can come from anywhere, opportunity doesn't always. Should someone's opportunity depend on how much money their family has? Hi everyone, I am Sumarjan and welcome back to Common Sense. First of all, thank you so much for the response to the first episode on the FIFA World Cup. I honestly wasn't expecting so much people to watch it, comment on it and ask questions afterwards. Not economics from a textbook, but economics hidden inside everyday life. And for this season, we are talking about something that's really close to me, music. Starting today, this channel has a full season. I am calling it the price of passion. Here's the idea. It's actually a simple concept from my school economics class, scarcity. We don't have unlimited money or unlimited time. So every time we choose to spend money or time on something we love, we are giving up something else. That's called opportunity cost. This season, I'm applying that one idea to music. What it costs to learn, why kids quit, why instrument itself is a barrier, how musicians actually earn, who owns a song, and what it takes to build a real career out of it. Today is episode 1, the foundation of everything. Before we ask why every child doesn't have access to music education, I think we need to understand what families are actually paying for in the first place. I didn't want to guess at this, so I brought in someone who sees this happen every single term. Today, I am joined by someone who has probably seen this better than most people, Mr. Dheeraj Kumar Malviya, founder and director of the Sounds of Heaven Music Institute. So I have some questions for you. Let's start with something simple. Lot of parents want their children to learn music. Why? What do children learn from learning an instrument beside just playing songs?
See, music is not just about learning the songs. It's about discipline, focus, patience, creativity, And children also learn how to express their emotions so that they can, at the time of need, or they really know how to express their emotion. And music really helps them.
Let's talk about money. When parents think about learning music, they usually think about monthly fees. But what are some of the costs they don't realize in the beginning?
See, the question is, you should ask Samad, what is the cost of not learning music? I'll give you an example. We always calculate money, or we always bring the priority to the money. The cost of not learning music is much higher than, I'll give you an example. Think, if just thinking or just looking at the fee structure, you don't go to the good school, what you lack actually. So it's not about what is the cost of learning music or how much is the cost. Did really stop? We should always ask,
what I'm losing.
What I'm losing if I don't learn. That's the reason we always try to go to the best school. Every parent has the desire. Everyone. This is a basic instinct which we have from God. So the cost of not learning music is much higher, because I'm teaching music from last 39 years, and I've seen when a child is learning music and when the others, they are not learning music. I have seen a structure, because the 39th generation, I've seen that. So I can really make a distinguish or differentiate between them. What really makes a child when he learns music? If you go, if you search, if you go to all the inventors, right? If you see their background, somehow they went to music. And every school which has the music, you will see that there's a calmness in that school, even in the mind. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Yes. Right, thank you.
So before recording this episode, I first researched how much cost does it take to learn a guitar. So it said instrument cost, exams, maintenance, books. So roughly it was about 40 to 50,000. So is that right, or am I missing something?
Yeah, you are very close. Then again, since we are in India and this subject is not really considered as a very important subject, and so getting the instruments and getting the good teachers it's really a tough job for the parents or even the school. So the estimated cost you said around 45,000. It's yeah, because see, even if you take 2 days a week in any institute, or if you go, I mean, not talking about school, I am talking about the private. So if you go to the schools or something, because there's a lack of good teachers, especially for the music. Now, why the reason? Now, India, we have a culture. We always follow the performer, not the teacher. Somehow we thought that he's a performer, he may be a very good teacher also. But the whole responsibility lies on a teacher. If you want to learn maths, you will not go to a mathematician or you won't go to the Einstein. You'll go to the maths teacher, right? So that's the reason the cost is little on a higher side. The number one reason is because we don't get qualified teachers for that. Okay. And not every state or every city has this thing. So yeah, if the cost you have estimated, yeah, I justify that. Thank you.
Sometimes people say if someone is talented enough, they'll succeed anyway. Do you think that that's actually true, or like opportunity matters just as much as talent?
Both are important. I have many students. I mean, he was a fantastic guitarist, but his parents were really poor, and he never got an opportunity. But anyhow, we made something for him. But the talent and opportunity matters a lot for everyone. Now, in India, or if you see the worldwide, people, they have talent or skills, but they don't know how to use and where to use. It reminded me of my teacher, that is, my teacher was Mr. Sami Dola. And when I was learning music, he taught me, the number one important thing is to set the mindset before you teach them any skill or the talent. So my teacher said, if you apply a perfume, so do you need to go and tell people that I've applied a perfume? No. People will automatically will come to know that is the talent. When you practice so hard, when you really work on your skill, it means you have something. And how opportunity knocks, I always believe one thing, because I'm a spiritual person also. I believe when you're ready for in your skill, God always bring an opportunity. So you have to be very wise to acknowledge the opportunity. Many people, they fall into this dilemma. They think that the opportunity has to be very great, but there should be always a humble beginning. I would always recommend, because that is important. So don't lose an opportunity. I remember one girl asked Bill Gates, said, what is the secret of your success? And that was something like this was happening. So girl was sitting there and she asked. So Bill Gates said, okay. No, it was not Bill Gates, I think. It's Steve Jobs, I think. Maybe whatever. So he said, he immediately interrupted the show and said, he called his PA and he said, give me a checkbook. He said, girl, fill this check, whatever the amount you want. So she was really embarrassed. He said, what happened, sir? Why you are saying like that? No, he said, just fill this check, whatever the amount you want. So after 3 or 4 times, she said, no, sir, I don't want your money, but I'm really asking. Then Bill Gates, he put the checkbook in his pocket. He said, I gave you the opportunity, but you missed it. Why I'm successful? Because I never miss an opportunity, whether it's small or it's a big. So you have to be wise to understand the opportunity. It can be very small. Stick to that. Be faithful.
So some people say that they're naturally talented. So do you believe that talent like occurs, or like you have to practice and like?
No, I don't believe there is any natural talent. Right? There are 3-4 ways. Like if a person doesn't know Punjabi or Hindi or English, or if you, I don't know whether you know that do you speak German? You don't speak. Why? Because you are not surrounded with the German people. But I can guarantee you go to German and be there for 6 months, you will automatically learn few words, pick up a few words. The same way either the skill is being learned but trained by someone, or you are in that atmosphere. Like I'd speak about let's take Bollywood. Now many of the people, they know the Bollywood song, but they never went to any school. But through listening to the music, they somehow catch those sounds, catch those lyrics, and they started imitating. So the imitation of anything helps you to develop any skill, right? So you can't say that I'm a God gifted and you don't do anything. Somehow, maybe the music has come to your ear, or somebody has trained you, or you saw somewhere, maybe the TV shows or something like that. So it is very important, because this is a false, I mean, statement when people make that I'm naturally talented, because I don't think that God is so partial that He'll give you that talent, He will not give me that talent. But what I believe is God gives everyone the same amount of ability. And when we use that ability and being focused on something, when we try to achieve that, we'll be able to do that. So there's nothing like natural talent. Yes, yeah, we all are very natural human beings. We all have the same ability. There is exceptional. The man is born with one hand, so he can't do anything. A man is born deaf, so he can't do anything. But otherwise, you see the normally, the majority of the people, they have the same talent, right? I'll give you an example. Why every parent in India, we know that, why every parents are so convinced that they send their kid maybe at the age of 2.5, they know their kid has to go to school and learn. Why don't they think whether this my child has the talent to learn or not?
Because everybody learns.
Because everybody learns. So everything which is learned in a structured way is achievable. That's why we are into schools. We have a first, second, third, and we go to plus two. Then we have colleges, and then masters, and all that. We have a structure. So any talent can be improved by learning in a structured way. So there's a degree of skill can be it differs from you may be I may be more talented because I have more focus on those things, but you may be more talented because you carried on, you were consistent, and you did that.
Thank you, sir. We have actually been learning about human capital in economics recently. The idea is that education isn't just an expense, it's an investment. Would you say music is an investment too, even if someone never becomes a professional musician?
Yeah, music is an investment. There are 3-4 things which I believe very strongly. Music is not created by a man. Light is not created by a man. Frequency is not created by man. Right? We breathe oxygen. It's not created by man. So oxygen is needed. Light is needed. Right? Music is needed. It's all. So music has played a very essential role. So learning music is an investment because it impacts the whole personality of a child. It's there. I've seen, I mean, because I've been teaching music from the last so many years, I've seen that, I mean, the children, those who are learning music, they're far better than those who are not learning. They're really focused.
So does it help in studies also?
Yeah, it helps in studies. It calms their spirit. I've done music therapy, and music really helps a child to focus on one thing. Now, after even when the COVID hit, after that, many parents, they came. And one of the important thing was that many parents, they said, my child is so distracted. And with the much hesitation, they came to my institute whether they were not sure whether the children will start learning. They never used to sit at one place for maybe 30 seconds. But in my class, they have learned to sit at least for 1 hour. Can you imagine that? So music brings discipline, patience, calmness in your spirit, and you learn how to focus. I think every parent should invest in their child when it comes to the music learning.
Another thing we have studied is something called merit good. These are things that are good not just for individuals but for societies as a whole. Do you think music education falls into that category? If yes, do you think schools or government should do more, make it affordable?
Yeah, of course, music helps a man or anyone to become a better human being. And yeah, government and the schools should really encourage such things, which I normally don't see in many schools. I worked in many schools for many years. Of course, where I was, I made it compulsory so that every child should learn music. But it is something like that you are not allowing somebody when you know there is something good for them, but you're not allowing them to have a taste of that. Right? So, learning music is an investment for everyone, and government and even parents and the society should encourage this thing. There's a quote. They say, as the music is, so the people of country are. Now I'll make it a little elaborate about this thing. In India, we have different states. I usually travel. When you go to the south, their music is different. So as the music is, so the people of country are. Their music is quite very calm. And as you go a little up, when you come to Telangana and this place, their music is very entertaining, and Bombay and Bollywood and this thing. And when you really come up to the north side, our music is much aggressive. You must have noticed this thing. There's aggression because people are so loud, people are so full of enthusiasm. So their beats and their music is so loud. You look at the Punjabi music. So when even in the Bollywood, and whenever they need to put some good kind of energetic music, they put always Punjabi music because it brings energy, enthusiasm, right, rage. And when you go to the west, in the Manipur side, their music is very soothing and calm. So I did some research. So as the music is, so the people of country are. So music really builds up the society.
So, but don't you think like if music education is compulsory, it will put burden on student also? Because if instrument learning, like you have to learn an instrument, then that put a burden on a student who is already doing so many subjects?
No, Samarth, I think I would answer this way. Music is a stress buster. Learning music is a stress buster. Right. Yeah, I can understand. I know what you're saying because a lot of subjects are there. A lot of homework is there. But over the past year, according to my experience, what I have seen, I mean, when you learn some musical instrument, it really helps you to focus on your other subjects. It helps you really to memorize the concepts you're already learning in different subjects. And the best part is music is something which calm down your spirit. Even many people, they come to me, even maybe doctors or something. They said after the tireful day, when they come in the evening and when they just play the music, maybe for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, the whole tiredness gone. And they're ready to go for the work. And I have seen the same thing in the children, those who are coming to me. In my institute, the children, we usually take 3 years onward. Nobody takes that because we believe that's the right age to start music. So, and I have seen the enthusiasm even in my institute when a child is giving or when a student is giving his grade exams or board exam, they are coming every day to learn music. Why? Because it really a stress buster. I think it won't affect the life, rather it will make it better. So parents should understand this thing because in India we put music at the last stage. It should not be there.
So it's equal.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be like drawing, a physical activity or dancing, music, computer. Everything has to be in the same structure way.
So here's one question I was very curious about. Like if you had anyone who was genuinely talented but had to stop learning because of financial reasons, without naming anyone, could you tell us one story?
There are many people. And in my institute, my vision is very clear. My vision is really I want to impart what talent I have. And yeah, there are many cases when a child comes to me, they're talented, but because they can't afford and they want to stop, and they will give excuses that my parent doesn't want or I have some other work. But when you really go and have a deep talk with them, then you really understand, okay, the reason is they don't have enough finances. So usually in my institute, what I do when I see a person who's not able to learn, so I don't teach them free. But what I do, I have a different tactic. What I say, okay, you don't teach, you don't have the money, but can you do me a favor? I'll teach you free. But you have to do me a favor, at least come for 1 hour and teach my students what you have learned. So that way, even the child don't lose his morale. He's learning and he knows that I'm paying, but in a different way. Then now the question is why I asked, because I believe when you start teaching something which you already have learned, you are sharpening your skills.
Yeah.
Your skills become better. So that's why I'm helping him both the way, so that he may not think that there's a burden on me, I have to pay later. I said, no, just come for 1 hour or 2 hours. Just come and teach my student what you have learned. That's the story. And there are many cases in my story. And if I find someone who's not financially very good, I teach them freely also. But later on, I always tell the same thing. Can you teach in our institute to our students? And it really helped them. And the output of this was, I have raised many music teachers from this.
So, do you think music should be taken seriously as an actual vocational skill, something that can genuinely lead to a job, or is it still mostly seen as just a hobby, even by families who support?
Most of the people, they think it's as a hobby, because people don't have a very clear understanding about how they can make a career about it. Though they are very, they're very get allured by the YouTube videos when they see somebody very popular, but they don't know the way. And that's very what I can say, it's the biggest problem of our youth or our country, that people don't know whether they can build a career in the music. But they can. Why can't they can be a very good music director? Why can't they be very good lyricists? Why can't they compose good songs? Why the song should be abusive? I mean, there are a lot of songs I heard, a lot of abused languages. Why can't they create some songs which has the ability to uplift somebody, to bring out the real issues and speak through the songs? We need good singers, good musicians, those who can play music and really change that atmosphere of the place. So we need it. It can be luxurious later on, but it's a very basic need which I think everyone should go. And most of the people, they ask me this question: can my son learn music? I said, who said he cannot learn? Who made this statement that if your child can study any subject, he can study music also? So it's the basic need of, I should say.
Last question, like technology has changed everything. Today there are YouTube tutorials, apps and AI. Do you think they have made learning music more accessible, or they can never replace a good teacher?
There are a lot of information before AI came. A lot of information on the YouTube, but there's no authenticity. Everyone's putting everything, whether they know it's because I have come across many students. They have learned from YouTube for 6 years. Can you imagine 6 years? And when they came to my institute, they came with a lot of frustration, a lot of depression, because they don't know what to do next. Yeah, there is a lot of information across globe. Internet is full of information, but where to start? What is the structure? AI has the fastest information you can have, but AI will not make you to run your fingers on guitar, on the keyboard or drums. You need a teacher to assist. Nobody can replace the teacher. So teaching is not just passing out the information, but helping a kid, standing by him side by side, assessing every moment of his learning. Then only he can be. So AI cannot, or YouTube cannot replace a good teacher. Yeah, for some information you can always refer to those things. I usually do, okay, after teaching them the concepts, I always tell them to go to that.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That's our take. One thing I realized while making this episode is that I don't want to talk only about problems. I want to see if I can actually help in a small way. So alongside this season, I'm starting a project called The Cost of Talent. The idea is simple. Talent is everywhere, opportunity isn't. And if money is stopping talent, young people from discovering what they are capable of, then that's something all of you should think about. With The Cost of Talent, we try to make a small difference. But with your support, we can help few more talented kids continue doing what they love. If you would like to be a part of this noble cause, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much to Mr. Dheeraj sir for joining me today, and thank you for listening. I am Anuv Jain and this is Common Sense. I'll see you in the next episode of The Price of Passion.